Congressman, on what grounds would you impeach President Biden?
Our main objective is to get Israel the support they need to show that we stand with our ally Israel, even if Joe Biden's walking away because he is now trying to appease the pro-Hamas wing of his party.
But is it a high crime and misdemeanor to walk away from a big ally?
Well, what we want to do is get President.
So that is an argument for impeaching Joe Biden from Steve Scalise that is so stupid that even Stuart Varney is not on board with it. And look, admittedly, Steve Scalise is like trying to lay the rhetorical groundwork for that, but it wasn't him who actually went forward with it. For that, we have to turn to Republican Representative Cory Mills, who has formally filed articles of impeachment against Joe Biden for being mean to Israel. So he says, furthermore, that him pausing bomb shipments to Israel to try to stop them from invading Rafah and potentially killing tens of thousands of civilians is a quid pro quo, and it's the exact same thing as what Donald Trump tried to do with the Ukrainian government. So let's walk through his, I'm not gonna say logic, but perhaps argument, I suppose. The House has no choice but to impeach President quid pro Joe Biden. As vice president, Biden was caught threatening to withhold funding and aid to Ukraine unless they fired the attorney general investigating Burisma. That's not at all what happened. A company financially benefiting his son Hunter, not to mention the 10% share for the big guy himself. Again, if there was literally anything to that, they would have already impeached Joe Biden. There wasn't, that's why we're moving on to this new clown show. Now Joe Biden is pressuring Israel, our biggest ally in the Middle East, by pausing their funding that has already been approved in the House if they don't stop all operations with Hamas, which is not at all what Joe Biden is calling for here. It's a very clear message, this for that. These are the same accusations made against President Trump, which resulted in his impeachment by Democrats. The same must happen for Joe Biden, which is why we're drawing up articles of impeachment now. That is so stupid. This for that is not by itself an impeachable offense. That's literally all of what politics is. Donald Trump doing a quid pro quo in regard to the Ukrainian government was not by itself a problem. It's the benefit that he was trying to get was a corrupt, selfish benefit. It was not a benefit in the interest of the United States. That's literally what diplomacy is. Foreign policy is attempting to influence foreign states to benefit American interests. Donald Trump was trying to influence foreign states to benefit Donald Trump's interests. That's what made it a high crime and a misdemeanor. The fact that Joe Biden might very briefly be putting the brakes on these bomb shipments to stop the invasion of the densely populated area of Rafah, that's simply foreign policy. Foreign policy that I think a very large percentage of the American people would be in agreement of. And by the way, it is hardly unprecedented, even in the Israeli context, for American presidents to attempt to use our influence. We hand over billions of dollars and they talk often about the fact that we're sovereign states. At what point do we get to act like it? No, they expect us instead to simply bow down. But Joe Biden in this particular case, this limited case, is not doing that, and he is not the first. Ronald Reagan used the power of American arms several times to influence Israeli war policy at different points, ordering war planes and cluster munitions to be delayed or withheld. Eisenhower threatened economic sanctions and an aid cutoff to force Israel to withdraw from the Sinai Peninsula after it invaded Egypt back in 1956. Gerald Ford warned that he would reevaluate the entire relationship back in 1975 over what he considered Israel's recalcitrance during peace talks with Egypt, and even George H.W. Bush postponed $10 billion in loan guarantees back in 1991 in a dispute over settlements in the West Bank. Now, that is not the exact same thing as what Joe Biden is doing. Notably, every one of those presidents was a Republican. But there's certainly a precedent. What do you think?
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as the entire industry is. You know who could make the difference? You. If you hit the join button below, it's gonna make all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you, thank you. First of all, I think the Republicans are seizing defeat from the jaws of victory. So Joe Biden was badly hurt with younger voters for how much he was backing Israel 100%, and how he didn't seem to care at all about the innocent Palestinians. And apparently, massive credit to younger voters in America, they're the only ones who care. So that's not fair to say as a blanket statement. Obviously, tons of people who are middle-aged and older care, but in terms of the polling, on average, younger people care more, hence they're more decent, humane human beings. And so that's why Biden was getting clobbered and had lost like 40 30 to 40 points among younger voters. Well, here comes the Republicans go, no, young voters. Remember, we're always worse, right? So Biden, on the eve of yet another horrific massacre that might happen in Rafah, said, hey, we're not gonna send you bombs to drop 2,000-pound bombs in populated areas. That is ethnic cleansing and genocide. We're not gonna do that. And he didn't spell it out with the words ethnic cleansing, genocide. He just said, I told you not to do it. We agreed on a peace deal. You backed out of the peace deal. So for American foreign policy reasons, I'm not going to send you these shipments. And so maybe that opens the door to younger voters going, look at Joe Biden actually helping a little bit, okay? But here come the Republicans going, oh, no. I cannot believe that Joe Biden betrayed the orders that we were given from Israel. We will serve Israel more dutifully. We think America is second at, well, actually, Lindsey Graham mentioned Saudi Arabia and how since we're doing an arms deal with them, we have to also listen to them. So America third, probably third, depending on what other donors we're getting, okay? But probably third, but trust us, Netanyahu is our leader. The Republican Party, we were thinking of making him Speaker of the House. I'm kidding around about Speaker of the House, but they are actually begging him to come speak at Congress, where they'll give him standing ovation, and maybe they'll stuff his pockets full of money, right? Because 20 billion. So we make fun of Menendez, who's a Democrat, and Cuellar, who's a Democrat down in Texas, because they took money from Azerbaijan and Egypt. I mean, it's an open auction, right? And the gold bullion and the money literally stuffed into his suits, but you can't fit 20 billion in a suit. And that's what Netanyahu has gotten from Biden. And the Republicans are like, not enough. How dare you defy Netanyahu? Mike Johnson apparently hopefully we'll get to it later in the show, called up Netanyahu. What should I do next? Boss, and now look, so when you criticize these obviously corrupt politicians for obviously taking money from AIPAC, which is giving out $100 million in legalized bribes to politicians, they say, oh, that's anti-Semitic. No, brothers and sisters. They will take orders from any donor. It could be Bulgaria, it doesn't matter. And it's not theoretical or hypothetical. They do take orders oftentimes from Saudi Arabia, which is a Muslim country, not a Jewish country, and is a Muslim state. And they take orders from drug companies, oil companies, defense contractors, et cetera. Corruption defines this system. So now we've reached the height of absurdity where the Republicans are saying, because our leader has not listened to a foreign leader when he should have taken orders from that foreign leader, we are going to impeach him for high crimes and misdemeanors against Israel. Are you guys serious? You sound ridiculous. And you sound like you're pathetic servants. And look, guys, I've been telling you for decades, they're all pathetic servants that take corporate PAC money, that take lobbyist money like this, and they serve all of the donors. But in this particular case, it's so obvious because it's a foreign country. They're giving away the game. I'm picturing like drug company lobbyists going, no, they're gonna find out we're all buying you, right? So here's the Republicans saying, Netanyahu, of course we will impeach our president, sir. Yes, sir. Is the AIPAC money coming in? Mike Johnson's #1 donor, AIPAC. Hakeem Jeffries, by the way, Democrat, #1 donor, AIPAC. But on this case, it's the Republicans that are the problem. And the Republicans are saying any deviation from what that foreign leader says is unacceptable. American president must serve the Israeli prime minister because we got paid to do that. All right, brothers and sisters, go for it. Not only will you lose younger voters, you'll give Joe Biden a giant gift and show that you're both corrupt and morally horrific people, that you're willing to have all those people die in Gaza just so you can get paid. But on top of that, you're gonna start to lose your own base because your base doesn't think America should be third or eighth. They think America should be first. I've heard that a couple of times. And I see it in social media. A lot of the right-wing base is starting to get really agitated. Like, oh, really? This is the one thing that you guys are gonna impeach Biden over? That he's not serving Netanyahu? I'm telling you, tons of right-wingers are saying, look, I can't believe I'm gonna agree with Cenk Uygur. But I do agree on this. Why do we have to do everything Netanyahu says? Which other foreign leaders are we gonna serve? This is insanity. Okay, Sharon.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And what the Republicans are doing is basically turning Joe Biden, he's done very little for all those civilians and all those deaths, into this Palestinian freedom fighter, even if it's only temporary. You're absolutely correct. Joe Biden only recently admitted that United States weapons were killing Palestinian civilians. There's 1 million people sheltering in Rafah, and he's finally saying something. And you have Lindsey Graham speaking up, as only Lindsey Graham does, saying something ridiculous. It's like twisting themselves into a pretzel to try to make it make sense. He says, if we don't give these weapons to Israel, that's our last chance at peace. We will lose any chance at peace. It's nuts. It really is nuts. And if you're not paying attention, you might just go along with it and think it's okay. But a lot of people are paying attention on the right and the left, young people. And so here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. He also tried to compare it to if the US had not dropped nukes on Japan, pitching the devastation of Gaza as being the same sort of existential threat as literally World War II. So Lindsey Graham, apparently an expert of world history, so I guess according to Hillary Clinton, he gets to give us his opinion.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.